Parliament TV, bringing Parliament closer to you.
On your constituency, we profile one of the most prominent constituencies in the country.
The constituency is facing a lot of challenges, but the major ones are, number one, poor road network, communication network, no financial institutions, no colleges, no electricity, and inadequate infrastructure in both education and health.
bayuti nabonayika mulandu n'obwalwa nabana mayo bonse nabaponenamu nsunko obwalwa kyena nakibonawula
ekyo ndeko nkomesha ndeko obuyantandikiro kwanga obukinjeko buno mukushize pambulo ande mukushi noturalima ku ekintu sana sono misevo poor road networks not challenge tukwete tweshingwana naenda.
In Mukushi, we watch Parliament TV.
Watch Parliament TV, the TV that brings Parliament closer to our community.
Keep watching Parliament Television.
On the Vice President's question time.
Questions for oral answer understanding order number 76.
For a matter to be admitted, it has to be of recent occurrence.
Continue watching Parliament TV, a channel dedicated to bring Parliament closer to you.
Late drama. No one marking forward. Stream all 380 matches for just 90 kwacha on Showmax Premier League. Visit showmax.com to get started.
Every chance you gotta get it. I'm talking to you. And every chance you gotta get it. If I ask percentage, how can I not go get it?
It's your birthday.
And every chance you gotta get it.
It's time for you to see the world. Big fan.
Get into the football action. And he's got it in. He took his time. So, McTominay!
the fun cartoons.
Stop! You don't know what you're doing!
Yes, I do. I'm frying up some eggs.
Hydra! Let's go! You know what to do.
The jaw-dropping drama.
Oh my God, the grasshopper is in again.
Hey, halt!
The time is ticking. I want my shit.
Outlet action movies.
That's what I'm talking about!
From sun up to sundown. Enjoy non-stop entertainment with GoTV. Reconnect or stay connected to watch all your favorite TV moments anytime, anywhere on GoTV Stream. GoTV. Love it.
Please, come with me.
Get all the best of GoTV.
How soon? Wow. Let's do it.
Plus Premier League. Plus more movies. Plus more fun.
Our fun is just beginning.
To the future.
We're gonna baby.
Plus series galore. Oh, this is better than good. It's better than great.
All hands on deck.
It's Super Plus.
Welcome back home.
Upgrade to GoTV Super Plus today.
A competition across the continents, the communication throughout the history. 32 teams, 30 days. Novel games, same aim. Whose new chapter it might be, whose another milestone it could be.
What a goal that is!
Whose last dance it would be. Perpetually and relentlessly. It's what you're chasing for that pushes you forward. FIFA Club World Cup, Star Time Sports, beyond passion.
Time is power. Our lives are powered by the sun. As the sun rises, so do we. It's time to power your life and say goodbye to blackouts with a new Topstar solar solution, the H50 hybrid system. Enjoy a safe and reliable solar solution at home or your business with the Topstar hybrid inverter, lithium battery, and 550-watt solar panels. Experience a peace of mind with reduced electricity bills, long warranty of up to 5 years with free installation. For more information, call or WhatsApp now on 0779 04 2000, 0779 04 2000, or visit our Facebook page at Topstar. Also pay us a visit at our head office next to Arcade Shopping Mall. Topstar Solar. Power your life.
Here is the roadmap for the enactment of the Constitution of Zambia, Amendment Bill 2025. On 26 March 2025, Minister of Justice Honorable Princess Kasuni MP updated Parliament on the roadmap and content of the proposed Constitution of Zambia, Amendment Bill 2025. On 22nd April 2025, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, will submit the report to the Ministry of Justice defining 1. Constituencies to be delimited, 2. By-elections, and 3. Quota system. From 23rd April to 20th May 2025, the Ministry of Justice will commence drafting of the Constitution of Zambia, Amendment Bill 2025. This is after obtaining the report from the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ. From 21st May to 21st June 2025, the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill 2025 will be published in the Gazette for 30 days for public consultation in accordance with Article 79 of the Constitution, Cap 1. On 24th June 2025, the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill 2025 will be introduced in Parliament. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Justice, Government of the Republic of Zambia. Did you know the proposed amendments to the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia, Amendment Bill 2025, also aim to revise the number of constituencies and wards? Zambia's population has grown, but the number of constituencies has remained the same. This means some areas are now too large and people's needs aren't being fully met. Delimitations help to ensure fair distribution of resources based on population size. By increasing the number of constituencies, rural areas can receive more Constituency Development Fund (CDF) support. For example, If one area is split into two, it means 2 new schools or hospitals, because each constituency now gets its own share of funding and infrastructure. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Justice, Government of the Republic of Zambia. Did you know the proposed amendments to the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia, Amendment Bill 2025, also seek to revise the rules of filing nominations when a candidate resigns? Imagine candidate A, B, and C have all filed their nominations. Just before the election, candidate B withdraws. Under the current law, this triggers fresh nominations, causing potential delays, wastage of resources, and disrupting the electoral timeline. This can violate Article 56 of the Constitution, which sets out the time frame for holding elections. The amendment proposes that elections should go ahead with the remaining candidates. This would speed up the process and help avoid unnecessary costs and delays. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Justice, Government of the Republic of Zambia.
And welcome to yet another interesting episode of Life After Parliament program right here on Parliamentary TV and radio. My name is Joe Akatama Muyunda, your presenter. On this program, we get to speak to former members of Parliament who have contributed to the development of this country. Today, I'm speaking to Ambassador Godfrey SIMASIKU. Ambassador, welcome to Life After Parliament.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure, Wakatama. Grateful indeed to be on this program.
Thank you so much. Also, the pleasure is mine.
Right.
Who is Ambassador SIMASIKU?
Well, I was born in Livingston way back in 1945. So I started all my primary school in Livingston. There were only few schools those days. So I was at a school called Koilad. And then we moved to Koilad Memorial, the new one, which is Molwani today, near the trade school in Livingston. So when I completed, I had done very well, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do while deciding. So I went for a typing course in Ndola. Those days, typists were only men. There was no woman typist in the country. So I went for that typing course. When I came back, I found a Form 1 acceptance letter, Mungu Secondary School. So that is how I proceeded. And one of my classmates is General Manimba Masheke, Professor Mundamo Nalushi, from Form 1. So that is how I went into Form 1, and all the way, we completed 1964, Cambridge. So there was no university at that time. So we had to go to work. So I went to work. First I was at the David Livingstone Teaching College as a temporary employee waiting for my results. And then went to Livingstone Municipal Council as the first black committee clerk trainee. But within 2 months, because of some racial incidences there, I quit to join Rhodesia Railways as a guard. You know, they used to go with the red flags, green flag, green light. But I was just there briefly. They identified me into management. So I was trained. We went to Evelyn Hall 1969 for 6 months management training. And in 1970, the railways sponsored me for my first overseas training when I went to London for some, management training, personal management, industrial relations. So when I came back, then I realized I had to upgrade my academic papers. So I risked or decided to take a government scholarship, government to government, the Zambian government and the Romanian government in Romania. So I went 1974 to 79, where I did economics. My major was international economic relations. So I was there for 5 years. I still speak Romanian fluently. They couldn't tell after about 4 months on the phone that I was a foreigner when I spoke on the phone.
Wow.
Because I speak about 12 languages anyway.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
So now, share with us your journey to Parliament.
Right. Oh, wow. Very memorable history. When I was in school, I used to admire members of Parliament. I said, if that one is a member of Parliament, I'm sure I can follow in their footsteps and become one. Including even our very own late Honorable Mbambo, who, when he first came to Parliament, soon after completing his school, his traditional cousins, the Mbuyas in the southern province, used to joke with him, mock him when he stood to debate and said, "Where is your feeding bottle?" So he inspired me. So for him it was in Western Province, but I did the extraordinary thing to stand in Chifubu. So everyone thought I was crazy, said, what chance do you have? Even the leadership, provincial administration, the party UNIP, the leadership, they treated me as an underdog, for lack of a better term. Yeah. But those days, since it was one-party state, it was whoever wanted to stand as an MP, your name would be on the ballot. There was no, what they used to call vetting. So we ended up 13 people on the ballot paper. 13. So people really didn't believe that I would carry the day. So, and they give you symbols to use also for people who are not very familiar with the written names and all that. So when they were giving us the symbols to use, they gave me a goat. So I felt a bit disappointed. Goat, I didn't like to be associated with a goat. Yeah. And then the young people, these young boys and girls, they are good campaigners. I said, no, you, Honorable MP, they already call you MP. This is the best. In no time, what do we hear in the whole constituency, the township, wherever I went driving, meh. So that was a trademark. Mm-hmm. So the voting day, and I was going around inspecting the polling stations, so the young people will tell you, Imweba me, not me vote till Imweba me. You, me, the God, we have voted for you. They openly told me. And surely, when the voting came to an end, and then they were now counting the votes, I emerged top of those 13 candidates.
Yeah. So now you are declared winner of Chifubu constituents. I want you to share with us, how was your experience when entering Parliament? You gave your maiden speech. How was that experience for the first time to enter into Parliament?
Wow, again, some good, memorable moment in my life. Because here we are, and previously, members of Parliament, were of an advanced age. So they were 10 years older than us or so, some of them 15 years. So we as the youngest in the group, we had to be, you had to deal with the cultural aspect, with helping them. Some of them, their education was not that good, so the language was not that good. So, but you had to take everyone as an equal. And we managed. And so one of my attributes in my life is good PR and the HR. So I was able to help even some of them to draft their maiden speeches. Wow. I did that for a number of colleagues. Because like I mentioned, we noticed someone who was in Parliament 6 months, not a word. Because the environment was a bit too high for their level of, education, culture, etc. So we encouraged them to get on, and they got on well.
All right.
Yes.
So you entered Parliament in which year?
1983-88 Parliament.
Okay.
That's where.
So do you have some of your former members of Parliament you remember? Probably maybe how they used to debate and those memories you have in your mind.
Yes, the colleagues from Western Honorable Miato was one of my contemporaries. It was one of the constituencies. I think he was MP for Kalabo, yes, now I recall. And you had, like I mentioned, Honorable Hapunda, who was in Siavonga, in the Gwembe area at that time, when it was still called Gwembe, the whole of that place. And then you had, of course, Honorable late Michael Sata. We were very good friends. He liked me a lot, because we would interact, very, very well and relate to each other. So when he even became governor, like I mentioned, he was governor of Saka, I was governor in Ndola. When there was a conference for governors addressed by the president, Kenneth Kaunda, he said at that conference, some of you here have more powers than me as president. And then there was a murmur around of mentioning one name of a very particular person. So that was it. No, we were really getting on very well.
So, Ambassador, I just wanted to find out, during one party state, all of you belonged to one party. How was business being transacted, and what type of debate was there in the House during that time?
Yes, there were some brave ones who would cross the line in their debate. They called a spade a spade. Because imagine if we were to follow the system that you don't criticize the party and its government. That's what it was to say. Don't criticize the party and its government. But your duty is to save the people. So this is why most of us steered, to do the right thing by doing the right representation for the people. So we're not intimidated, and no one came to kick you that you said this and that. They tried one or two extreme cases, but not for me, but for the other people. So it was, people knew their freedom. People knew their movement, that we are here as representatives of the people. That was always emphasized by members of parliament. I'm here representing the people out there.
Okay.
Yes.
Still in Chifovu as a Chifovu member of parliament, how did you make sure that your people in the constituents were well represented in parliament?
Yes, I had a very live communication with the electorate so that I was abreast with their issues. Obviously, many of the issues, the basic issues in life, health issues, education, power. There was no power, in their homes those days. So we had to work out on all the things for electrification and the schools, to ensure that there were more schools built that were put up, and ensuring that we had members of staff, teachers available. So I was able to relate, not only later on when I was appointed district governor. Now I had to look after everyone in Ndola. So that was another interesting challenge. I have something very interesting that I think we can share with the world out there. When I was appointed district governor for Ndola Urban, I used to go into the DCs, that time there were district commissioners first, and then the district governor. So I used to go into that office, discussing issues for the constituencies and for the district. So the day I was appointed district governor for Ndola, the first day when I went to report, I knew the office very well. So I entered into the office, and the first thing I saw that I still recall up to this moment, right in front of me, behind the governor's chair, in front on the desk, there was a pile of cash. Today's value would be about 400,000 kwacha. On the desk, not in an envelope. I saw this money. Obviously, I had to call the secretary. Secretary, what's the story about this? Says, I don't know. That's what she said. What did I do? This is the question that I would like to share with the people. I called the office of the president. They came. There was the money there, as explained. They took that money, the officer who came. I never heard from anyone from that moment that money went, up to this day. So, people said to me, they were setting you up. Shaka, in one of his films, they said, if you want to trap a monkey, give it something shiny, and he even did this with his hands, the fingers. So integrity in politics is very important in public office. So corruption, it comes in many, many forms. So trying to get a benefit for yourself at any cost, I wouldn't advise anybody to go that road. No.
Sure.
God is watching us. There are many ways. Today, the technology has improved so much. They can always find you. They can always trace you. They can always bring you to book. So services for the people should not be on monetary basis. Serve people. Because some people will come giving you this, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? No. That is my bottom line.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges you faced as you represented people of Chifuvu in Parliament?
Yeah, the major one was that we were not sufficiently remunerated. The member of Parliament of those days were getting a very, very minimum salary. So it affected you in many ways. Visiting your constituency. For example, Kalabo Central, when I went to Kalabo Central, you only move in gear 1 and gear 2 in that heavy sand. So if you have 2 or 3 meetings maximum per day in the constituency, to move from one meeting to the next, even if it's about 30 kilometers, it translates to about 300 kilometers in the dry land here. That's the time it took you. So you had to really sacrifice the water problems. You know, many members of Parliament of those days in the rural areas used to sleep in classrooms when touring the constituency on a mat. I had a mattress. I would put my mattress down there and sleep on. That was the service to the people. There were no facilities in many places. The only place where you had bed and breakfast perhaps, it was at the Boma. You know, the rural areas like Kalabo, when people used to go to the Boma to get cash from the post office, they would walk 2-3 days to reach the Boma. They reach the post office, oh sorry, money is run out, come next week. The poor guy will walk back and come back again. Similar situation. So that was the challenge. Teachers used to walk from Kalabo to the Boma in Mungu to get salaries on behalf of everyone in their area. It was pathetic. So I'm so proud of being the architect of the Mungu Kalabo Road. Some people are trying to, they don't know who is behind it. The royal establishment, they know this very well. The Ngambela, the Litunga, they all know that program. That it was massive. In fact, today people can Google. They'll find that I'm the one who took the initiative to start that project. So when an idea came to me, I told the people, I will get the road done for you. I spoke to President Chiluba, because they are already tipped by some interested parties. You can get funding in Kuwait, the Arab Development Bank headquarters, in Kuwait. The headquarters in Khartoum, Sudan. So after doing certain procedures in Kuwait, I took along a colleague of mine who was deputy minister at the Ministry of Works and Supply. He didn't even have per diem. He didn't have anything. I provided that. I said, we'll pay the bank when we come. Can you bank give this one? They gave him all those. That's how we traveled. Mungu Kalabo Road is on. The people who went to commission the road were claiming certain stories. People know who.
Ambassador,
yes.
We'll get to that.
Right.
Now I want to, we're still in Chifuvu. Now, share with us your journey to Kalabo Central. And which year was that?
Right. So, my term for Chifuvu, like I mentioned, was 1983 to 1988. So later on, the people in the Western Province used to urge me, even when I was MP Chifuvu, so no, we want you here. Come and help us. We are hearing what you are doing. This, can you please come to your homeland here? So this is how I said, okay, fine. So 96, I went to Kalabo Central. There was, of course, the usual vetting and all that. So I was selected, amongst, I think we were 7 of us or so. So I was picked to be the candidate. So I started to, my first trip now to go to present myself for the nominations and all that, after having been advised that you are the one who we want, I got a big welcome, a thunderous welcome in Kalabo at the Boma, where they were all waiting for me. So I joined them in that celebration. There I am. I was well, I was very healthy and energetic. So we started to file in, and then we had now to lay out our campaign strategy. So this is how now, I had to direct the campaign myself. So gave them, and you had to give them standards. You have to give them parameters. You had to be responsible for the language that is used, the atmosphere, so that you don't offend the electorate. So the poor, the prosperous in the community, we all have to treat them with equal respect and share from their wisdom. So this is why my experience is that as compared to the electorate in a town, in the urban areas, the women are in the forefront of the political movement for members of parliament. In the rural areas, like in Western Province, for example, there's a strong tradition of our mothers being led by the men. So the woman will not try and outshine the men, even whatever ideas might have. So they have to do it within the parameters of culture, traditional culture. So the women are very influential voters. If you tamper with them, if you belittle them, then shauri yako, as they say in East Africa, that's your problem now. You have created for yourself.
Sure. Yes. Now, Ambassador, how was your experience having served in urban and also rural constituencies like Kalabo?
Well, there were two different scenarios, certainly, but you have to be adaptable. So the best thing that you have to do, you must have good PR to adjust it to any situation. So public relations with the people is a very key component for any member of parliament to succeed.
What was the most defining moment in parliament at your time?
Yes, I remember also chairing one of the committees, the one on finance and associated subjects there. So I was able to relate so much into those parastatals, the ones that were being audited and all that. So I really feel that I know that, for example, the Honorable Mr. Speaker had confidence also in me. He would assign certain responsibilities, certain missions, to go to certain areas. And they are always interested, the presiding officer is always interested in the reports from where you go. You don't just go as a tourist when you're on a mission. Because I remember even when I went to a place like Kenya, when we went to meet later Arap Moi, who was the president, their demeanor, all those things, you have always to interpret them. So, to further international political and economic relations with the rest of them. So, we are part of that structure of governance. So, I always cherish those moments.
What were some of the most pressing issues in Kalabo constituency at the time you were serving as Member of Parliament?
The most difficult one was that there were no roads. People go to receive money at the post office. They would walk 1-2 days on the way to the Boma. They reach the Boma, the post office. Can I get this money? Sorry, we have no money. Come next week. Walks back 2 days to his village. Comes back. Oh, sorry, again we thought we would receive nothing. He walks back. Imagine 2 nights on the walking. 2 nights you spend after having walked all those hours or days in hot sun. So I really felt this was terrible. Teachers were sending one of them, and the one time one teacher was attacked who went to get payroll. The payroll was snatched. Walking. So those were the biggest challenges. Those civil servants who were being posted to Kalabo, teachers, nurses, I remember, from Mungu, they were waiting for transport. Open Land Rovers.
What would you attribute this to? Is it maybe because people don't understand the roles of members of parliament or what? And what should we do?
Certainly that is what it is. People do not understand the limits of a member of parliament, the functions of a member of parliament. the responsibilities of a member of parliament. It's all about development. Now, when personal issues overwhelm you, then you don't even have the capacity to do that, because it will be one, the second one, third, fourth. How many people can you pay from even today's salaries that are much better than during our days? They cannot go into that line on so much. So this is why members of parliament became more clever by nowadays, right? You have cash on you in your jacket. You have to separate the currencies, different pockets. Because one time he was visiting a patient in hospital, so he gets in, there was a 50 kwacha note, and that was the highest note those days. So he gives the patient, even he jumped up, seeing that amount of money. So that is what people think you are the national treasury. Obviously, you can't blame them, because I think also the levels of education and understanding.
So didn't start now.
No, they have been there, expecting member of parliament, but you had to use your discretion and say, no, this cannot be involved. Because once you agree, you won't even sustain that type of demand. So you do the PR part of where you deal with the mind, where you advise them, give them ideas. They say the Chinese were saying, teach a man how to fish, then he will fish for himself the rest of his life. So this is where our development should be development oriented. The children getting better education, they will be better professionals. My wife comments, she saw a video, a clip coverage from Kalabo, some schools there. They were asking primary school pupils, what job would you like to do when you finish? Many of them were saying a nurse. My wife said, because they see only nurses in their communities. You see? So this is what now really we must help them to develop, academically and professionally, and with a good reputation. Because many people must not forget about reputation. You see, you can be an engineer, you can be an economist, you can be whatever. If you do not have a reputation, good reputation, then you will not go far in your duties.
Ambassador SIMASIKU, we have some constituency offices now offices for members of parliament now in some constituencies. How do you think members of the public can make use of those offices?
Yeah, I'm very grateful for that question. They are very lucky, today's members of parliament, with a constituency office and a member of staff or members of staff. In our days, you were the moving office. You were alone. You had no assistant. You had nobody. You would be going all over the place alone, just with your driver. Now, today, you have a constituency office. People must make use of the constituency office so that they can document the problems that affect their development. So that the members of parliament, because some of these problems, as they accrue the problems, the members of parliament, as they get them, as they document them, they are the ones that they use over the years to bring them to the attention of the executive, so that they can address some of these. Because we're talking about rational use of limited resources. That's number one principle in economics. Rational use of limited resources. So resources will never outnumber the demand. So the people and the member of parliament, from what they will be reading, what they see in their constituency offices, study them. But they should learn to communicate. That's very important. Communicate with the people back there. So no, we've seen your suggestions, we've seen your requests, we've seen this. But the situation is this, that I hope that mechanism remains open. Because there's a limit what the PA can do and to what you, the member of parliament, who delegated to that PA. So this is one of the best ever, administrative arrangements done by our government in the parliament now with these PA people,
So at your time, you never had a professional assistant?
No, was nobody, no one, nothing. You were just one man, one person. Nothing. No transport. If you didn't have a vehicle yourself, well, as ministers, we were able to tour projects, because as you go, you don't just go and say hello people you have to combine with it to justify your trip. Educational issues, health issues, road infrastructure. So you are doing the inspections. Along those things, you are doing that.
Now share with us, how was life after you left Parliament?
The most unfortunate thing that affected our generation, by the way, Frederick Hapunda, that was his first name, Frederick. So the thing that first affected us was the infamous leadership code that was imposed by UNIP, that you could not run government, businesses, but your wife could. Now, one day, we're driving back to Ndola, where I was MP. So, we stopped at our land in Kaoma, having lunch. And then I said, we'll go after the news conference, which was scheduled by KK. So, as usual, he had reshuffles. So, I hear, I'm appointing Godfrey SIMASIKU, Ndola Urban Governor, as Minister of State for Higher Education. However, subject to him being cleared by the Leadership Code Committee, because I hear he runs a chain of businesses. End of quote.
After serving as a Member of Parliament for Chifuvu, as well as Karabu, what followed next?
Okay. Yes. I served on one of the boards here, Komako, which is very active in Eastern Province, encouraging farmers to grow certain crops and what with the proper methods of cultivation, not destroying the soil, not to do that. So I was on that board for 10 years. Of course, I had to retire. 10 years is quite a long time. So I'm always interested to see how we look after the small-scale farmers, because these are the backbone of the Zambian life. So they have to be assisted to have proper farming, practices that will conserve the natural environment. We are being listed as one of the first of the worst deforestation countries in the world, Zambia. So some people think, what's wrong with me cutting this tree, that tree? We planted these trees when we came. A number of, on the driveway and all that. You see, we have to preserve the environment. Okay. So I think there's a lot of education that has to be done on environmental protection, so that there are countries today that have become deserts because of bad agricultural practices. So, and also looking after our wildlife. There are some countries today where certain species have vanished. So people think, these are given by God. These animals will do that. No. We have to bequeath them to our great-grandchildren. So, members of Parliament, I urge them very strongly to ensure there is a lot of reforestation being done, so that they can be able to sustain the earth. You have seen what is happening now? No rainfall for a long time. These droughts that have come in, they keep telling us, the scientists, it's all about the environment. You see, in our days when we were in the primary school, the rains were 5 months in a year, guaranteed. 5 months in the 50s, mid-50s. 5 months.
When were you appointed ambassador, and maybe your experience?
Right. I was appointed ambassador in 2001 to go to Japan. Now, Japan, I had other missions covered by us in Tokyo. That time, we had to look after Australia and New Zealand, which had been closed due to save funds, financial issues. And then I was accredited to South Korea, Indonesia, the Philippines, and then there's a small island that many Zambians do not know. One of the richest in the world, Brunei, where you have the Sultan and the King. Brunei has a very small population, 500,000, the last figures I had. But there, they produce oil, gas, and they are having free education, secondary school, etc. Free college because of that gas and oil. So we really need to strengthen our relations with Brunei. At one stage, Brunei was sponsoring Commonwealth scholarships. We would like to revive this so that we can benefit as Zambia. My wife, she's been a very committed farmer for over the years, even in Kaoma, where she's very, very active. She has been very active. Unfortunately for now, she has visual problems, so that have limited now her, but she still follows. She calls the workers, do this, so she'll grow maize, she'll grow, so vegetables, except that sometimes certain crops are not worth, going to because of the low returns on them. But she keeps herself active with those activities.
I can see a lot of green vegetation here. What type of crops do you do here?
Yes, no, when it's time for maize growing, much of what we grow is maize. And then she used to try to do some vegetables and what, but the returns are not that commensurate with what you put in. So it slows you down to only maybe grow vegetables for own use and family members, so move on. So cost of production, is high, so to say. So it's cheaper for you to buy your vegetables than to grow vegetables at 3 times the price of what you buy. That's economics. So the rational use of limited resources, back to that number 1 lesson in economics, the principle. So we try to keep going.
We are almost coming to the end of this program. There are those who want to aspire to be members of parliament. What advice do you have to those, and also maybe even the current serving members of parliament?
Yeah, I think number 1 issue is have a good name. A good name is better than gold and silver. Don't be too proud. Don't be too officious. Remember, we are dealing with some people with basic education and some with little education, especially from these older generations. So let's just emulate Jesus Christ. He will not go around saying, I'm the Son of God, so I'm this and that. No, he humbled himself. That's where we had learned humility from. He humbled himself. My father, he recognized his father's authority. So what I would really recommend is, don't use this language, do you know who I am? Never use that vocabulary. Just interact with them. They will ask you, oh, who are you? Then you explain. Because obviously there's that interaction. People would like to know, who am I talking to? Humility is the number 1 qualification in life. So let our young brothers, our young sisters, our nephews, nieces, you have a big job to carry on the success story of Zambia through the peace we enjoy. We are working with the people to work for the people. That's my slogan.
All right. Ambassador SIMASIKU, your concluding remarks.
I want to say I'm so delighted what I see, the business of the House, how it is conducted, from all the presiding officers, all the 3 of them. The Zambian Parliament is a leader in democratic dispensation here, we should say. So other countries have been interacting with other people. They admire the Zambian Parliament. Let's use civil language, because certain people use inappropriate language, which causes more injury than physical injury. So let's have respect. One Zambia, one nation. God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Ambassador SIMASIKU, for having taken time off your busy schedule to accommodate Parliament TV and radio just to share your experience as you served as a Member of Parliament for both Chifuvu and Kalavo Central constituencies. Wow, that's what the program could accommodate for today. I was speaking to Ambassador GODFREY SIMASIKU on Life After Parliament program on both Parliament TV and radio. On behalf of my camera person, Ranji Kove, I've been the presenter, Joe Myunda Akatama.